Welcome to 0 to 100 with Natasha
and Serena.
Hi, Serena.
Hi, Natasha.
I missed you.
Missed you too. I love how I started the episode already laughing. People are like, "What the heck is she laughing about already?"
Business? No, we'll probably end up telling them. Cheers, girl. Oh no, not yet. Sorry.
Yeah, we have to celebrate. You want to celebrate. You want to toast before we even said what we're celebrating.
Thirsty child. All right. So what was I gonna say? Oh, I have a bone to pick with you.
Oh.
At the end of the last episode, I said, "Love you, girl." And you were like, "All right, now bye."
You already picked that bone with me at the end of the last episode, but okay, I love you too.
I thought my week was gonna be better. It'd be on and off sometimes. Yeah. All right, so number
3. Yes, we're on a roll, girl.
Yeah, man. 3 is like my third favorite number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I
What's
feel
your
good about
first
this.
favorite number?
11 and then 7.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Remember when we used to do like 11? Natasha would text me all the time.
I still
11,
do.
11. Yeah, you still do. I haven't got one in a long time, no.
Well, you know how I do it? This goes for everyone. I go down my text messaging combo. So whoever's been talking to your girl, then that's who gets the 11-11.
All right.
So one person tried to ruin it for me because of the movie Us. You know, it has the negative connotation, like 11-11 brings evil.
Right.
And then I was like, that ain't true. And I went and looked, and it's true.
Is it?
It really says that.
Well, I don't believe in that.
Thank you. That's right. It means goodness.
Yes.
And people are always like, well, what does it mean? And to me, it's just an opportunity to focus on something positive. Because people are like, oh, wishes don't come true. And I'm like, first of all, change your mindset, okay? Because regardless of what your, like, spiritual thoughts are, like, you know, you gotta have some kind of thoughts towards like wishing and blessings and you know, and if nothing else, that's just an opportunity for you to think of something positive for that short period of that moment, because I don't catch it every day. But
I've been practicing this. Me and my husband have been practicing like really speaking positive things and really really believing it and making, like, you know, throughout the day things happen and then you forget and you're like, oh, I'm so tired and I'm and it's like, nope, I'm not tired. I have energy and I feel good and things are going to work out the way that I want them to. So
amen, sister. Yes. Okay, so you keep reaching, girl. Let's go ahead and talk about the celebration. Me too.
Yes.
Okay, so you go first. I went first last time.
I don't know.
All right, I'll go first. Think about it, girl. Yeah. So I wanted to toast to my baby sister Marissa. Oh. Yeah, she just kicked butt in Mexico. She plays professional beach volleyball.
I saw this.
So I posted some of the pictures. Yeah, she's tall. She's like beautiful. She's super athletic. And then on top of all of, so mind you, she is 17, but she plays with the women's league. So she represents Cayman Islands, and they did really well. Now her partner Jess has played beach volleyball, super talented, super athletic, but she had been out for a while, so she was just getting back into the groove of things and getting back into it, and she literally like got off a plane and went right to the first match. And my sister actually has like some little broken bones, or like a torn so it's, you know, not as bad as they thought it was, but she has a lot going on with her foot, and she still played right through it. So when she wasn't playing, she had to wear a boot, and she still does, but the doctor gave her the okay to go ahead and play, and she kicked butt. She's playing with like some of the best beach volleyball players in the world. Yeah, and she, you know, they didn't win, but they still ranked, and I don't remember what the final rank was, but I know that they were, you know, kind of like midpoint, and that's amazing for them. So she's going into another round of the tournaments this coming weekend in Grand Cayman Islands, one of my favorite places on earth. One of my favorite places on earth. I think I wanted to say my favorite place on earth. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
But yeah,
we know what you mean.
Right. So I want everyone to root for her, because as you're hearing this, she's probably competing right now.
Wow. Okay.
And if you're into beach volleyball and you kind of want to know what's going on, then I post like little highlights or whatever on my story. So you know, just check that out, and then there'll also be a link to whatever page, or just ask me. I never know like if people are interested or people care, you know, so it's like if you want to know, just ask, because I'm surprised sometimes with what people are actually interested in. So that's my toast. I'm so proud of you,
congratulations.
Marissa. Yes.
That's how you know, like, when you have a true athlete, when somebody has like especially an injury or something going on and they just play right through it and like come through like a champ.
I thought it was a drone.
No, that was a sprinkler system for sure.
Pardon us. Thanks.
We're just filming and recording a podcast. That's all.
Right now they want to spray. I mean, come on. All right. What you got?
Okay. So, on that note, I'll celebrate my cousin. He's actually graduating from University of Florida this coming weekend. And so I'm going to go to my stomping ground.
Isn't that early? In April he graduates?
Oh, no. May 4th.
Okay.
I got my days all mixed up. But nevertheless, he's graduating pretty soon, and so I'm going to go back to my old stomping grounds to celebrate him.
Oh, no, that's the other cousin. I was like, wait a minute.
Toby.
Because, like, first of all, he don't go to University of Florida. And second of all,
he's
not graduating yet,
Demetrius he'll be a junior.
Who's
so
Demetrius?
Booby.
Oh, no.
He'll be so mad that we're calling him his nickname. Okay. So, but my cousin Toby is graduating, and he's actually going to be studying to be an anesthesiologist. So he's going back to school to work towards that.
Awesome.
But he has.
Is he staying at University of Florida? Or is he going somewhere else?
I think he's not 100% sure what he wants to do yet. So still
studying on that. Toast to that.
Yeah, he's got the first 4 years down.
What a great field.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I wish I would have did that.
Yeah. So
toast to them.
Yay.
Oh, it didn't mix.
No, it didn't. But mine's good because I had you put like just a tiny drop in mine.
Of water.
Yeah.
Put a tiny drop of love.
All right. So what are we talking about today, Natasha?
Guess who else is graduating right quick? Do you remember Lindsay? Mercedes' niece, Lindsay?
Are you joking? Oh my goodness. Graduating from what?
High school.
Oh my gosh. Now I officially feel like good.
You can feel that. Right? Yes. That's right, girl. Feel good for her. Go ahead, girl. Yeah, she kicked butt in school too.
Wow.
I forgot to mention that about my sister. Now, mind you, all of that with her volleyball, playing pro with the women's league, traveling to play, and she plays beach volleyball, Mission Beach in California. She has like a 4.2 GPA.
Wow.
Yeah.
4.2? Oh my gosh. A lot of people don't even know that it goes past 4.0, but
yeah, and I don't even. It's so tricky now. Like, it's not. We had weighted and unweighted, and of course, you could get the extra weight by doing dual enrollment and the extra classes or whatever. AP and IB gave you extra weight, so you had your little ways about going about it, so you could get that 5.0. But it's way more complicated, I think, because everyone kind of can get a 4.0 weighted, and not everyone, but it's much more doable now because I think they're probably getting 6.0s now. But
yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I already feel out of touch with school. Like, I'm not looking forward to when Christian goes to school because I'm like, the math that they teach now, the methods that they teach are so much different than what we were taught.
Which is probably what our parents were saying when we were in school.
Why do they have to keep changing it? I don't get it.
I feel like we turned out all right. Just keep it the same as us.
Just keep it the same.
Generation was the best. But actually, that's a good segue into our main topic. So, I think that's actually a perfect segue because we now are at that stage in our life where we're like, oh my gosh, like, how am I going to raise a child in today's society? And our parents were probably going through the same thing. They probably thought that the stuff that was going on when we were kids was like, oh my goodness, and how am I going to, and I don't get this, and they just didn't understand us. And I don't understand these little children. Like, I don't get them. But I think that more specifically, like, what are the things that, especially you as a new mommy, what are the things that, I think we briefly touched on it the first episode.
Yeah, we
about,
did.
Like, police brutality.
Right, and raising me raising a young man.
So you have to be concerned about, things that are going on with the police and him being a black man. He's going to, one day be a black man.
Right.
It's like, you kind of want to sit back and be like, I'm sure that'll be fine by the time he's driving or when he gets of age, but we don't know.
Yeah, no. And time goes by. So, like, the other day he turned 8 months old, and some people out there may be like, oh, that's so young. But I feel like he was just born, and just time is just flying. And before I know it, he's going to be in elementary school and then middle school and high school. And so, I mean,
then a grown up.
I like to think that I have
4 other kids.
Yeah,
and then he's gonna have kids. And
I like to think I have time, but realistically, it's
you're gonna have 4 other kids.
No.
Well, I said that. You said yeah.
I just say, girl, keep it keep it moving. I was just like gonna glaze past it. I was like, yes, 4 kids.
And you know I'm not gonna let you.
No, I'm not having 4 kids.
For the record,
I'm contemplating the
yeah.
second. I'm contemplating the second. We'll see. But okay. But yeah, so right now I'm focusing on the 1. So I'm just, there are a lot of things that I'm scared of that are not scared, but just it concerns me.
Yeah.
And
I think fear is valid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and actually what we were talking about the first episode was the whole, rape and
mm-hmm.
Like you kind of have to educate him, like, listen, you can't put yourself in this situation because you might not make it out.
Mm-hmm.
So not to say that may not have been a valid concern when we were coming up, but I don't think it was that big of a thing. Like, I don't think that our parents would have been expected to have that conversation with their sons, and now it's almost like, well, what kind of parenting are you doing if you don't have this conversation with him?
And someone was just telling me the other day that they were like, these are some things that you might not be thinking about, but you should, because they were like, when I was growing up as a young man, like I remember I was a teenager and I was over at a girl's house. It was a girl I was dating, and her mom allowed us to be in her room with the door closed. And he said, my mom came over and was just like, no, I don't allow my son to do this. Like, and he was like, I was so embarrassed at the time. And I was like, why you have to overreact and all of this. But then he was like, looking back as like an older person, I totally understand, because like, why did her mom allow that? Like, what if the girl could have said anything? And, you just have to be so, watchful when you have kids, and especially, I mean, at that age.
Yeah. But I mean, you have to take that experience and not wait for your son to invite you to teach him that lesson. Mm-hmm. You almost have to keep a running list, because I feel like sometimes I'm like, all right, well, eventually I'm going to have kids, and, these are conversations that I need to have with him and her, him or her, because I don't want to be the parent that has to come and clean up the pieces.
Right.
I want to be the parent that protects it.
Right.
Like, I want you to learn hard lessons, but there's some of them that I want to lay the path for you.
Right. And I feel like navigating that is tricky too, right? Because it's like, how much you don't want to shelter your child so that they don't, like, one of my biggest things with my child that I really am saying, like, I want to be aware that I am helping him to make choices, to make good choices, and not like I'm making the choice for him. So I want to teach him at an early age that there are choices in life that he has to choose. And then based on what he chooses, like there's a consequence or a reward for it. So I want him to understand that. I want him to have critical thinking and be able to think it out. That's and then, good. Without me being like, yes, no, yes, no. Yeah.
You want to help him get there, but you don't want to drive him the entire way.
Right.
Yeah. So let's get into it. What are some things that, like the first 2 examples? So you're going to have conversations, with your kid about, listen, when the police pull you over, this is how you do it.
Gosh.
When you are in college and by yourself and on your own and you're dating girls and you're going out, this is how you handle the scenario. So let's get into some more. What are some other things that...
I know, like, when we were coming up, what was big was saying no to drugs, and they taught us that, right? But just what comes to my mind is, like, you hear all these stories about somebody who, like, smoked weed one night or took some sort of drug, and the drug was bad and it caused them to, like, completely lose their mind. I mean, there were a couple of people I think that we went to high school with that I think that was the case. Like, one day it was like a switch was flipped and, like, they totally were out of their mind. It was like, what happened to this person?
Well, the verdict's still out because it might have been voodoo too, but
Lord.
So, but if it was drugs, that's exactly what kind of can happen.
Yeah. So that's something that, like, I think about too, like, making sure that they know, like, don't take things from strange. I mean, even your friends, you don't know, like, you have to be able to be aware of that kind of thing. They tell us as girls, like, don't set your drink down, and people will put some, but boys too, like, don't take drugs from people, just
because I feel like every kind of drug now is recreational.
Oh, yeah.
Back then it used to be like, oh, a roofie is to do this. But now I feel like they're taking that same kind of drugs for, like, they're taking it for the benefits that they pull from it. So funny story. So shout out to the mom because that's exactly how she taught me. I'll never forget. We were driving down Avenue D, and back in the day, Avenue D used to be a rough road. You just kind of stayed away from it. We were driving down Avenue D, and we were at a stoplight. And this lady came and knocked on the window, and her street nickname was the quarter lady because she would say, "I'm quarter." She would always ask for a quarter. Yeah. So that was her name. So, and I remember because she comes and she knocks on your window. So she comes and knocks on the window, and I'm like kind of looking. And my mom, my mom, she's tough. Girl, get move, get away from my window. And I'm just like, well, what's wrong with that lady? But you kind of, as a kid, you just, when you're not used to something, you just kind of put them over there, so that lady something. And my mom said, see that's what happens when you do drugs. Not when you do this kind of drugs. Yeah. Not when this kind of happens.
Drugs.
You do drugs. That's what happens. And I was like, oh. So when we got to high school and they were experimenting with all these drugs, I was like, wow, they're gonna be walking down the street asking for quarters.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a matter of time because my mom said if you do this, then this happens.
Yeah.
Then to solidify it, I was in the car with another adult, and she came up. And she didn't knock on the window, but she was just passing by. And he says, that's such and such, not quarter lady. He called her real name. And I was like, yeah, my mom said she's on drugs, and that's why she's like that. And he said, that's true, but someone spiked her drink or something. Someone basically made her get addicted to drugs, and then that's how she fell off.
That's what happened.
He said in high school she was beautiful. She was like a model. She was tall, skinny, and she was beautiful. And he was like, and that happened. Yeah. So those two stories together, child.
Yeah.
And I still remember in high school they'd be like, oh, Natasha, we know you are everything because you always turned up. You the life of the party. And I'm like, it's natural.
Yeah, it's a natural high.
Y'all better stop doing those drugs.
Exactly.
That's gonna happen to you.
That's scary, hearing those stories. I mean, that to me, always hearing things like that. My mom told me a story like that where she was like, there's a boy in my neighborhood, and then one day he just took something and somebody spiked it, and it was just it was a wrap for him, and just that's scary.
It's so scary. And then I remember we were 18, but we were still high schoolish, and we went out. It was my first time being in a club, and there were these two guys who were underage. So guys came up and they were offering to buy us drinks, and so we're like, oh, okay. And it's how I was raised, and just, where I grew up, I always just pay attention to my surroundings. So, we're in there talking, songs on, and I'm watching these guys. So, if something makes you think well, why is whatever, then that needs to make the other part of your brain, now your third eye needs to open up. Now you need to employ your common sense and really say well, why is he walking all the way around? But when he left us, he went right there. So why is he walking all the way around? Then they get there, hand us the drinks, and, we're kind of looking at it. She goes to drink, and I'm like, wait, something doesn't feel right. Yeah. So I say, just hold on. So I keep looking, and I'm like, why is it fizzing? She goes, you put roofies in our drink. And I'm like, what's a roofie? What's a roofie? What's happening? Gosh. Yeah. So we told the bouncer, and we left, and I was like, okay, that was fun. So there was other stuff that happened that night, but it was that first going out experience.
That could have turned out a completely different way.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We told the bouncer, and he went and found them right away. They handled it. And as a matter of fact, this was the beach club in Miami, in Palm Beach. Remember the beach club?
Oh yeah.
That used to be a fun spot. But but it's
that's another lesson that you need to teach. You learn as you grow up, but I definitely want to teach my kids. It's just listen to your gut. When you hear that voice, don't second guess it, especially if it's telling you warning or there's a red flag. Listen to it. Yeah. A lot of times I'm 20 something years old, and I still second guess my gut.
21.
Yeah. So I still do it.
And every time I do it, I'm like, because I knew it, and I even have to in court sometimes. And I remember a boss of mine, we were in court, one of my bosses, we were in court, and he was in trial, and it was a decision, and the something had happened. It was whether or not we wanted to disqualify a juror based upon something that took place. And there's a lot that goes into that decision, but you could see good and bad on both sides. So now you're trying to play back and say, like, okay, well, do we feel like this juror was on our side? You know, how has she been looking the entire time? Has she been looking annoyed? Is she looking, you know, more intently when we talk? Or is she looking more intently when the other side talks? You know, you just start weighing all these things. And I'll never forget, he kept doing this. Like keep tapping your stomach. What's wrong with you? And he was like, what should I do, Tosh? And I'm like, whatever your gut telling you, because you tapping that gut. And he was like, and I was like, well, let me walk you through it. Here's what I see on this side. Like, here's the pros and the cons. Keeping her, letting her go, whatever. Do that. And he's just like, I feel like, you know, whatever. And ultimately, I'm pretty sure he would, like, he kept hitting his gut. I was like, you need to listen to you, what your gut is telling you. Yeah, and I just remember that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes it's such an intense feeling. And when it's that intense,
you have to listen.
You gotta listen, because that's speaking louder than, you can barely hear what I'm saying because you're feeling like what's going on. Yeah. You can't even hear me over your slaps. And you're slapping it because the feeling is so strong. Yeah. So I that's when I had that moment where I'm like, I know it's my gut, but then my brain is trying to tell me, and then this person is trying to tell me that. Then I think about him slapping that stomach. No. That's like my little visual, and I'm like, I'm gonna go with my gut.
Yeah. So. You have to. Yeah. That's one of the things that I mean, I feel like, you know, telling kids that are coming up now, just like, that's one of the biggest things you can tell them is listen to your gut, because at the end of the day, you have to be true to yourself. Like, you have to feel good about like what you're doing, and
you don't want that moment to be like, I should have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you're never going to regret listening to your gut. Like, you're never going to regret saying, like, but my gut told me. No. Okay, good. Yeah. All right, so what else? So like, I know there's tons of stuff.
Oh, my goodness.
I got something, too, when you're done.
I have something. It's a little controversial.
You're probably about to say the same thing I'm going to say.
So I watched this documentary the other day, and it was just about, like, it was a transgender couple, and they had a transgendered, not a transgender couple, but the couple, there was a transgendered person in the couple. And they had a little boy that...
Oh, wait, girl. Huh? Oh, so one of the...
people in the couple was the father. Because in I'm not sure what they identified as, because they kept referring to them as Mapa. So I'm like, I didn't understand if she was saying, or they were saying...
Oh, they were both transgender.
No, just one. Oh. But they were calling themselves Mapa. So I wasn't sure. I was very confused after watching it, because I wasn't sure if they were like, I'm the mother and the father.
I don't want to be confused.
I'm Mapa. I'm mama and daddy.
There's okay, if we look at it, we see a female and a male, right? Or no? We see a female and a male, but the male used to be female. I guess. I don't know. Girl, what channel? Maybe people want to watch it.
Let's move along. I think it's HBO, to be honest.
Okay.
It's a documentary. Okay. So anyway, that's not even the story. The story is that there was a little a transgendered child in the, I think, first grade. And so they were...
Their child.
Yes, their child. And so they were putting that child through school, and they were going through telling educating the class on what they were, like how to refer to them, and,
I got you. Yeah.
Right. So...
educating, because it's still very new.
It's very new. And so part of me is just like, how do you, like... I don't know. Part of me is just like, what would I tell my son? Like, if he was going to school and there was a transgender child there, like, how to refer to them? Because in that case, they were saying, like, you should refer to them as this. When you talk about their parents, don't say your mommy or your daddy. Say your mapa. Like, they wanted to take it as, that far and be like, this is what you should say to my child when you're referring to parents and all this. And I thought it was a little far when it went to, like, calling their mommy, daddy a mapa.
Wait, like, your child's supposed to call them...
Right.
No, you will be such and such, Smith. If you want me to leave off the Mr. and the Miss, but, like, you Smith or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I mean, so my thing is that I feel like, and this is all just predictions, because I don't have any children yet, but I got plenty of little babies running around that I do try to, talk to, or, just kind of make their lives better. Right. And I mean, it takes a community. It takes an entire village to raise a child. So
Yes.
I definitely feel like I have my hand in, and I take responsibility for a few little children running around here. But with regard to this, and this applies to other scenarios and other issues as well, I just feel like it's not new, but it's something that's newly accepted. So now it's like coming into the forefront. This has been going on for a while. Like plenty of people for years and years and years and years and years have felt like, well, I was born this, but I recognize as that. And you know, maybe, you know, it was there. It was there, but it wasn't like I can be as open. And you know, now via people like Caitlyn Jenner and other people that are out in the forefront, like, listen, this is how I feel, and this one I'm gonna be. So now that's what it takes for it to become more socially accepted. Okay, so that's where we are. But I feel like you gotta cut people some slack. Like, you cannot come
expect it to change overnight,
right? Or you can't expect, I don't care if it's 10 years from now, if my child comes to, you know, this person in the class and says, well, he da 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 da, and then my child is reprimanded because it should now be she. Yeah. No, hold on now. Like, you're not gonna reprimand my child because my child's making a reference to someone that they knew as this person, and now that has changed. So what I think if let's say I had a child that was transgender, I would educate my child to be more patient with people and understand that, listen, you have an opportunity to be who you feel you should be. You get to act how you want to act, and you know, I'm giving you that opportunity, but you have to understand that how you are recognizing yourself is different from what people may remember or what people accept in their own households, you know? So it's like, if, you know, I would just tell them, listen, don't get offended. Yeah. You know, just you have the responsibility of educating people that you encounter and that you deal with. So if someone comes to you, and because the child, I could envision like a child that's transgender coming, but everyone's still calling me he. Yeah. And be like, but baby, it's gonna take time, okay? Yeah. So you need to be patient with people because they're not experiencing the same thing you're experiencing. So now you have an opportunity to educate people. Right. Like, you're like a teacher. So then, you know, the child will be like, what? I'm tired of always correcting them. No. Like, you don't get an opportunity to be tired. This is a choice that we are allowing you to make, but no one says it's going to be easy for you. That's true. You know? So it's like, if they say he, just say, hey, remember, my name's such and such, and I prefer if you call me she. And I feel like there's a show called Billions, and there's a character on there, and the actor is very, like, androgynous. I think that's the word, where you can't really like tell. And I remember before I started watching, what made me start watching the show is a group of coworkers were talking about it, and that was one thing they were saying, like, but the person that plays the role, like, is it a girl or a boy? Like, I'm trying to figure out. Yeah.
In the show that I was watching, that's what the MAPA was, androgynous. So it was
you didn't really
that's
know.
Why I didn't know if it.
I got you.
What it. Like, I
see, and I love watching like when we were talking about Strange Blend, and I watch like the shows on polygamy and stuff. No, it's not because I secretly want to be like a sister wife. Yeah, I mean, sometimes like these men be trifling. I'd be like, well, you know, maybe I'll show you
benefit sometimes.
Yeah,
like somebody helping with the laundry or whatever,
and taking him off my hands sometimes. Yes, like sometimes I want my 3 days by myself. How about that? So listen, I'll volunteer. You could get the 4. Just give me the 3. So, you know, whatever. But I don't watch it with that because I'm interested in a sense. I'm always interested in stuff that I don't have a friend that's a polygamist, so I can't like really pick their brain or understand it. So anything that, you know, is not really like my norm, but it's like a norm for someone else, I'm all in it. Like, I'm like, oh, let me learn about this. So I would totally watch like a show like that, but everyone's not like that. And some people are very like closed off, and they're like, I don't get it, so I don't want to know nothing about it. Right. And I feel like, who are you to say that that's wrong, you know, or that's unacceptable? I do think that you should be more open, but I mean, if they keeping their closed offness to themselves, and what? I mean, mind your business. Like, let them be closed off. That's just don't bring it over here. Yeah. You know, don't come at me with your stereotypes and whatever you think I'm supposed to be. But if you're keeping it to yourself, then be closed off over there.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
So I feel like if I'm the one that's bringing this, whatever it is, like something new, something not socially just like super out there, we kind of get it. We kind of know what's going on, but we don't get it.
That's
true. So then it's my responsibility to educate you.
Yeah, that's true. So what's something that you're afraid of, or not afraid of, but something that's a concern for you?
Oh, child school shootings.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I think that's on everybody's radar.
Girl,
and it hit so close to home when Parkland happened right down the street from, that really, to me, I mean, it's been happening, but when it happens in your backyard and you're like, oh my goodness, this could happen anywhere.
Yeah.
At any time.
And it's not even that it could happen anywhere. I feel like it's moving in the direction of happening everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like there's no, little safe area of the states anymore, and soon probably the world, where, it's going to be those kind of things don't happen around here. No, it's happening everywhere. So it's kind of like you're just on the list somewhere.
I have already had this conversation with my husband about, we're telling Christian, if you hear of anything in school, some little chatting going around about so-and-so is saying they're going to do this, or they're coming back to school, whatever. I'm like, leave school. I don't care if you get in trouble. I'll vouch for you.
Yeah.
But at this, I mean, have your cell phone on you, be thinking about an exit strategy. You have to tell your kids these things now.
I think that's one thing that kind of is in the back of my head constantly, because my child like me, it is I know how I would probably raise my child, not specifically you do this, but kind of I don't know, not even trying, but just what they're exposed to and the kind of lessons they hear in there. I think my child would probably try to be the hero. You think you finna shoot up the school? Bet.
No.
So then it's if I don't want them to do that, then that means that I feel like if you don't want them to do what you think they're naturally going to do, then you have to have a conversation with them and say, do this if this happens. And I'm so I just tell my baby to just bail out on his friends. You know what I'm saying? Because in school, I was we're doing a shutout. We're doing a walkout. I was all with it. So I just really feel like my child would kind of be like that too.
Yeah. But you know what? And that's an interesting point, because I think I heard that there was a student that survived the Parkland shooting that ended up actually committing suicide because
she felt bad.
The grief that she felt and the guilt she felt about surviving and so many of her friends dying. That kind of pushed her over the edge. And so I mean, then there's that, because if you're saying you feel like your child might be, I want to be the hero, and then they bail out, and then they have all this then you have to address all the emotions and feelings that they might be feeling. I mean, it's just like a soldier coming from battle thinking about all their friends. They feel guilt. Yeah.
And I think that's another thing that scares me too, mental health. So I know, we have our episode coming up.
Oh, yeah.
And we should do a whole series.
We are, yeah.
A whole series. So we have that coming up. But that's a fear of mine, because I'm shucks. I want my child to be tough and resilient and, not cry over every time, you spilt milk. Clean the milk up and get your butt up. Let's go. But then at the same time, you have that moment where you have to, be able to really assess a situation and be okay, well, this is a legitimate problem, and I need to fix it. So that terrifies me, and I'm scared because it's how do I get that balance? So I have these thoughts, I have little mini conversations with myself. Ain't crazy though, because I do it inside my head. No one really hears it. I think sometimes I do talk it out loud, but anyway, and I think that I want to, it goes back to the balance. So I'm telling you how I analyze everything is okay, well, on this side of the scale, and then I'm going to balance it out by putting this on that side of the scale, and then we're going to make sure we balance it out. And I think that would be of course, you should always strive to give your child a better life than what you had. And it's no diss to your parents. It's I want my kids to provide a better life for their kids, and I provide it for them, and I want it to continue to get better and better and better. So, I mean, pretty much I'm the type where I'm going to send you behind a public school, okay? And I feel like that's a good balance, though. I think about, friends that we had that, they could have gone to private school. And I feel when I look, now that we are, 21, 22, we've had the opportunity to... Why you always laugh when I say our age? You don't want me to... I know.
I just can't believe how young I am.
You want everybody to think we're 16. That's why this non-alcoholic ginger beer. Okay, focus, Natasha, focus. So, but we've had an opportunity to see the differences, you know, because I do feel like for the bulk of it, it's nurture over nature. Mm-hmm. No, nature over nurture. But I feel like your nurture has a lot to do with it too, you know?
It's true.
Like, but I've seen the difference. Like, I've seen the friends that I have that, you know, come from an affluent family and went to this kind of school, and their kind of outlook is different from the friends that I have that come from an affluent background but then still went to private school. And that's my thing. That's you going to public school. Yeah. And we gonna call it private school, but public school.
So what about private school? Are you like, no?
The people that go.
Okay.
I think it's the environment, and if I like the mix. Like, I loved our school. We had a mix of everything.
Yeah, we had a great... I always tell people this. We had a really great... a great mix of people.
Our school was right in the hood. Mm-hmm. And we had people that lived, you know, in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. You know, we would skip school sometimes and go to people's house that lived, like, right around the corner. Mm-hmm. I mean, after school sometimes we would go to friends' houses that lived... Who would do that? And... Then we had friends that their parents would drive them 30 minutes to come to school. You know, they lived in a totally different side of town, different city.
I lived in another city.
That's true. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it was a huge mix. Like, it was just a huge mix, and I love that about my school. So I want to try to find that for my kid.
Mm-hmm. A magnet school, then.
I mean, if we lived in California, you're not taking you behind to some ritzy school. You're going to Crenshaw or something.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna learn to figure it out.
That's
like
true.
I just want you to have, like, I want my kids to have that mix. And I don't know how I see myself is I'm gonna be the type to be tough, and then even if I have to cry in the car, like, oh my god, I was so mean, and that baby came out of my vagina, and I just had to be so mean, like, whatever. In their face, I'm gonna be like.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to that, because you know what, I always thought that I was gonna be like the disciplinary.
No, you did not, Serena.
Yes, I did.
No, get out of here.
I thought I was gonna be like
the
strict one, and like.
Where your husband?
I did. I'm like, you know. I mean, I would say before I had Christian, I wasn't like a kid person. I was always just like, you know, kind of make sure that they're behaving. And so I thought I was going to be like the disciplinary, but I'm totally not. Like, I hate to hear Christian cry. And I'm like, Chris is like, let him cry. So it breaks my heart.
Oh, but he's a boy.
Yeah.
So wait till you have a girl.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
The first girl. You know, you'll probably have 2 girls or probably 2 more boys, but.
Girl. Okay.
I'll take one. If y'all got too many, you don't want one, I'll take it. All right, what else we got? 0 to 100. I feel like we could keep on going.
We could.
This topic was super general.
You know what? I think this is something that, like...
we can come back to it another time.
Yeah, and then everybody can relate to. So, like, I mean, if you're out there, here's the plug. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Girl. But also, like, let us know some of the things that you guys are... that maybe we missed, that you think, like, what about
I've had, like, one person actually say something. So, I ain't asking y'all to say nothing else.
I had a couple people today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but that's 3.
So we want to hear from you guys. Stop being so quiet and shy.
We do.
I think they have, like, Facebook actually has some new thing where you can even write stuff anonymous. So if you don't want to let us know who you are, I don't know why, you could always do it through, what is it called?
Them the kind of people that went to private school. See, in public school.
That's why you need to go to public school so you can stop being scared.
Mm-hmm. Scared.
Okay.
Yo, I was watching something. Oh, you seen the movie Little?
No, not yet.
Oh my gosh, I had to go support it. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you anything about it, but you have to go see it. Yeah. But there was I think she was like a social worker or something. Mm-hmm. And I cannot remember what she played on. But if I said what she played on, like, you would know her. Mm-hmm. But she's like this older, like, white lady with, like, the, bob. Like a typical, like, if you had to paint or cast a social worker, like, she fit that bill, right? She played her character well. But she said something. She said, "Okay." I could usually do it. Girl's late. But she said it, and I just thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Listen.
I have to go see that movie.
It was so cute. I just saw it last night.
Okay, my mom saw it, and she was telling me how good it was. So.
It's so cute. Okay. Yeah, I love Issa Rae.
Yeah,
she did good in it too.
Yeah. When is the next episode come? The next season?
Oh, I haven't heard. I haven't heard.
Okay.
That's a good question. It should be soon because it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Issa Rae, what you doing?
Yeah, I know. We're waiting. All
right, 0 to 100. Real quick, because it is getting late.
So I'll go. So the other day I was coming home. I actually, on Easter, I was out visiting some family, and so I was coming home late, and my mom actually lives right across the street in a subdivision across the street from mine, so it's so convenient. So she was in the car with us. We were trying to take her home, but the road was blocked off, and the police were just telling us that it was a car accident. You know, we had to go all the way around. So my 0 was just out. I was so, like, I was kind of like, okay, like, this is out of the way, but it was Easter, still feeling good, whatever. I'll drop her off. I ended up having to drop her off, like, in a parking lot.
What?
Close by her house, and she had to walk the rest of the way because everything was just shut down. And so I'm like, what's going on? I'm, like, so anxious to see. Like, so I go turn on the news, and apparently my 100, I'm, like, stuttering. Now I need to drink some ginger beer. My 100 is that...
I'm like so anxious. I'm like...
you want to know what happened? So, apparently, a guy, a 29-year-old, stole a car, with a 6-year-old child in it. And as he was stealing it, the father of the 6-year-old child kept shooting in hopes to hit the person who was stealing his car to stop him from stealing the car with his child inside.
Dangerous.
I know, because how did he know that, like, he was gonna? But he did. He ended up hitting the driver.
So he probably knew how good of a shot he was.
He must have been very good. And so apparently, but he still drove away. He wasn't like, I mean, he still got away a good distance. And so I think at some point he must have stopped close by my house, like, on the intersection. And
so they were searching for him.
And
so he got out of the car and left the baby?
He got out of the car because I guess the wounds must have been so bad. And people saw him and then started to call the police. So they ended up having to trauma hawk him out, and he was in intensive care. But
oh my God,
isn't that such a crazy story?
That's so crazy.
And I was just saying to somebody, because, you know, we hear all the stories. We just talked about school shootings, but we hear about gun control. And I always would say, you know, one of the arguments for people who are for us being able to bear arms and have whatever type of gun we want to have is that, you know, if something happens, you have the right to protect yourself. And I was like, I never hear stories about people with a gun, like, protecting people, or, like, you know, you hear these mass shootings. I never hear about the one person who had a gun on them and they just protected everyone. And so in this case, I was like, oh, okay, I could see, I guess he was able to save his child because he had a gun on him, but he probably was really trained in order to
for him to feel confident enough to shoot in a car with his
child in there.
Like, I'm sure he probably knew what he was doing.
But I was just like
I'm busting. Listen,
my 100, I was like, good for him, because, like, wow, like, what? And a 29-year-old, like, you just threw. Who knows if he's going to survive? He's in intensive care from the last reports that I read, but who knows if he's going to survive? Even if he does, he's going to jail for a while. So I'm like, 29 years old, like, what are you doing? And what were you gonna do with the car? Like, why? Like, were you just really trying to steal a car, and then there just happened to be a child in it? Were you trying to kidnap the child, or, like, what was your motive? And, like, why?
I mean, if it was a sleeping, like, infant, then maybe the child was quiet, and then you didn't know.
But a 6-year-old.
I'm sure the 6-year-old was crying or something. So at that point, like, oh snap, didn't mean to
stop
do this.
and let them out or something.
Or you just go pick another car.
Yeah,
like, go get another car. I'm sure you'll find someone else slipping.
Who's still stealing cars nowadays? Like, what are you doing with the stolen car?
Still stealing cars.
What are they doing with them?
Taking it to a chop shop and selling it and making money.
Gosh.
I mean, that's still a hot thing. But on the gun control issue, I don't have an issue with people having guns, but I don't understand why we need semi-automatic weapons. Yeah. They're not.
I'm on the same.
They're not shooting up schools with the 38 special.
I'm on the same page.
Or a 45. Yeah. It's freaking machine guns. Yeah. Like, why do we need that?
We should be able to have guns, but it needs to be heavily regulated. Like, there should be mental health checks. There should be, all of that. And
I mean, at the end of the day, like, if it's allowed, then I want to make sure I have a machine gun. Yeah. Because if you're going to come to me with a machine gun, I want a machine gun too. I want a semi-automatic weapon as well.
Yeah.
But I don't want that to be the norm of where I live. Like, I want that to be, like, Yeah, some people say they'll always get it. But okay,
oh my gosh.
Episode.
Yeah. I mean, side note, Chris's cousin has a I think he said an AK. I don't know. I'm not really good with names of guns, but it was a semi-automatic. And so when we went to, he lives out in the country somewhere, so we went to his house and my husband was like, can I shoot it? And so they went in the back. But just to hear this, how loud that type of gun is, I just can't even imagine ever being in a place where somebody is shooting that and you have no idea like who, what, when, where, like it's just happening and you have to, you know, run for your life. That's terrifying.
It's scary, but that's the kind of thing that they're doing in schools now. Like when we were in school, we have not hurricane, tornado drills.
Right.
So we go in the hallway.
Yeah, and we duck.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, they still doing that too? No, they don't care about the tornado. They're like, okay, well, if someone comes in here and starts shooting up the school, this is what we do. Ready? We're gonna have a drill. Like, how stressful.
But you know, back in the day, they had bomb drills, like, you know, when our parents were going to school. So it's just every you
have to tailor it to what's going on. So it's like, okay, 10 years from now, what's going to be the thing?
Oh my gosh, I don't even think about it. I might homeschool my child.
I hope it's
I'm gonna keep them at home with me.
How to go out and catch all the unicorn dust.
Girl,
something good.
Do you want to homeschool with me? You can bring your kids over.
No, my child going to public school. You go out there and learn how to fend for yourself, okay? You gonna figure this out.
Oh my gosh.
If it's that bad, then I'm gonna teach you how to shoot. We're gonna get you a little gun, and you're gonna be protected. You're gonna save the class, okay? But you take your ass to school. I'm not playing. Like, no, I don't want to homeschool you. No.
All right.
You better figure it out. You better come home.
You
better make it home. Safe and sound.
Let's check back in with Natasha when little so-and-so comes on the scene and see if she's still singing the same tune.
My kid's gonna be thugs. Gonna be little mini gangsters running around here.
We'll see. All right.
Okay, so my 0 to 100. Yo, I am itching. Like, I'm like,
what?
Itching to tell something. Like, I want to share something. On that day, girl, I'm bringing like my favorite champagne. When I finally get to say what this is, like, I'm itching to share it, but I can't. But my 0 to 100 moment is this thing that I'm working on, right? You already know what it is.
Yes.
But I can't say it out loud yet. Okay, so thing that I'm working on, right? So my 0 is that I've just been low-key like nervous, but then super, super, super faithful because I know everything's gonna be great.
It is.
But there's like that little like, and it's when I say it out loud, but I haven't really been saying it out loud. So in church, you know, I went to my church in Fort Pierce. So I'm seeing, like, you know, my apostle, my pastor, and, like, everyone that I love at the church. And, you know, they're like, well, like, what are you doing? And, like, what's going on? Like, what good news do you have to share? And I'm like, and I'm like, it's like, but I'm so nervous. And it's like, no, like, what you nervous about? So as I, like, started to share a little bit, and then my 0 is like my monotone, just kind of like, oh, I'm just chilling, you know, it's all good, it's all Gucci. Like, that's how I kind of deal with stuff, but inside I'm like, but I'm super faithful. So I know that, you know, you can't have faith and then be second guessing or be worried. So it stays in the back. So that's my 0. My 0 is just my, like, you know, just chilling, just, you know, working some things out, you know, doing a little bit of this, doing a little bit of that. And then my 100 was all of the positive feedback and encouragement that I got in, like, literally, like, a small window.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was, like, multiple people, like, oh, what?
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, this. Okay, that. Let me help you this. Let me help you that. And I'm like, huh. So I literally went from, like, you know, to the biggest smile and just, like, so, like, that's my 100, and I'm still on 100 from it. Like, you know, that was yesterday.
Till you are able to share the news with everybody, because it is going to be.
I caught it.
I missed it.
I can do it again.
Okay, let's see. Okay, good. See, that's how it is. Like, you were like surprised that you did it, but you can do it. It's gonna be great, and I can't wait till you. I'm not gonna say anymore because I don't want to, like, give anything away, but it's gonna be amazing. And there you have it. Those of you who are listening, you can't see Natasha doing her little dance.
Who did that?
So,
all right, y'all.
That's our show.
That's a show. That is a show.
Show number 3. This is happening. We're in the middle of it, right?
And so I know we talked about doing it, like, every week. You know, we'll release it every Sunday. So when people coming from church or going to brunch or whatever, they can listen. And then, you know, when we talked about it, I was like, every Sunday? And then on the first episode, you were like, every Sunday. And I'm like, oh, gosh, she said it. So I was like, how are we going to do this every Sunday? Especially with episode 2. Oh, my gosh, my entire Friday and Saturday. Like, it was sucked up. It was devoted to 0 to 100 with Natasha and Serena. Which I ain't mad about because you only got to struggle once, really, through the same thing. Like, I'll never struggle over the same thing twice. Like, I'm going to struggle to the point where I get it this time. You know? So it's like now, next time it's going to be a lot easier. We're learning every time. Yeah, I know. Y'all heard a waterfall in the background, but like, I mean, so
the
what?
First video was a little cut off,
and it was super echoey. You know, but we're building growing. And we're growing. Yeah. And I was just talking to somebody on my way here, and they were, you know, kind of giving critique about stuff or whatever, and I'm like, I know. Like, I appreciate the feedback, but like, we're working, and I just have to take a moment to like point out this like super big growth for me personally, because normally I would never. What? You want me to? I would sit here, do all this, put all into it, and then play it back, listen to it, and be like, nope. And I would delete it, and I'd be like, try again next week, try again tomorrow, try again until we get it right, until it's ready. And it has already started to change things about like my daily life and just about how I go about things. And it's not to say that I'm gonna just be sloppy and just throw some stuff together, because that's not what we're doing. We are putting a lot into this. A lot. We're putting a lot of thought into it. We're putting a lot of effort into it. A lot of our energy goes into this, but we're still at a place where we're still enjoying it. So we're not doing this for any purpose. No one's paying us to do this. No one's telling us that we have to do this. We are not victims of trafficking. Like, you know, we're doing this was a choice that we made. And we're still, you know, we're 3 in and we're still having fun. And that is important that we maintain that. And I know that every single episode is going to be better and better. So that's why I'm kind of glad that we're doing it every week, because I mean, we're kind of, it pushes us to get better and better every week. It's like, by the time, so let's say we were only doing 1 a month, the growth is not going to be you know, exponential. We're going to have exponential growth from doing it so often. So it's like, you know, let's do it. Let's keep cranking these out. Let's keep having fun. Let's keep eating our random little snacks. We got wasabi beans, wasabi what you call these things again? Wasabi peas. We got oranges, grapefruit, and ginger beer. So Renee, you sent me 1 grapefruit. That's good. There's a lot of oranges though. I don't know. Dang, I'm on my diet. I'm not supposed to eat it. I'm gonna finish it though. I'm gonna waste it. You ate it. Oh, but this is good for cutting belly fat. It is. I'm doing an ab challenge, girl. 100 abs a day. My dad was telling me that he eats a grapefruit first thing in the morning with, I think, eggs, like boiled eggs. And he said the grapefruit keeps him really full. And it helps you. I think it's like a diuretic. Is that what you just said? Yeah. No, and it slims your, so it helps with the bloating. So that's the same thing. But it, you know, I'm all about the visual right now. I want to be healthy too. But, I mean, I got good genes, so I could kind of be healthy. Eat fried chicken. Only 3 times. You look like you work out all the time. I do. Not. But I do now. I do now. And I'm about to, man, listen, Lauren. Might as well go ahead and cut me a little check. I don't know how much it's going to be, but I'm going to win this challenge. I need to get in the challenge. So, tell her to start a new one, and I'll join it. She's going to keep doing them. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So okay. I know she probably already know which one she's going to do. So as soon as she releases it, all right, cool. Or I'll send you her profile so you can follow her on Instagram, because she's the truth. I trained with her last week, and I was like, girl. Oh, my gosh. About that twice. Yeah. I need a little, like, competitiveness to, like, kick me in the butt. I agree. It does. And then, I mean, you're spending money because you're entering the challenge, and there's a cash reward at the end. So it's like you pay into the pot, and then you buy whatever product, because she associates a Herbalife product with whatever challenge. So like this one, Celosaur something, I took. It's in that shake, that nasty shake I made today. Is in that. So it's like that goes for the ab challenge. Like there's like a product that goes with it. Yeah. Okay. Like $20 if that. Like it was like $20 I think. All right. Yeah. I've been thinking about doing getting back on isagenix. I did that a long time ago. My brother was like a representative of, but I've been thinking about getting back on it because I really love their shakes. They taste so good and they're good for you, and you lose weight. So shout out to Lauren Russo. I know she'll be watching this, and she's been like kind of coach me into getting back on track and like ordering. So shout out to her. If you want isagenix, you can also contact her. I'll put her link in this episode. Oh yeah, now I at Lawrence too.
Yeah,
so
you should.
That's a move for sure. So next time we film, you need to be on some isagenix or whatever you called it.
I should, yeah.
What you called it?
Isagenix.
Oh, I said it right. Okay.
Yeah.
It sounded wrong because I said it, so I just assumed it was wrong.
All right. I think that is our episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us and listening. We really love and appreciate it. I love all of the comments that I've been getting, all of the support. I think you posted a couple of the messages that we got. Thank you guys so much. Keep commenting. Keep telling us what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear. But we'll listen.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See you next week.